Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lan here. I hope you guys doing well. I'm in zone 7B, so my last frost day is around the end of April. So it's a good idea to start the seedlings indoor between 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost danger has passed. This year I have found a very easy and mess-free way to sprout my seedlings, and the germination rate is great. The product I want to review today is a Jiffy plug. This pallet right here can hold 72 seedlings. Before we get started, I just want to put a disclaimer out there that this video is not sponsored and this review is based on my personal experience. Now let's get started. So the package contains 72 plugs, some vitamin for seedlings, and name tags. I use vitamin pack after the seeds develop true leaves, but you can even skip it. Each of the pallet is this thin, super light. My first impression is that it looks like a piece of compressed wood, but it will expand when you add warm water. So today I'm going to plant some of the foxgloves and some of the snapdragons. I love Johnny seed, although it's a bit pricey, but I think it's worth it. The germination rate has been very good. Alright, let's put some water in here. It takes about 10 minutes for these pellets to soak up the water and then expand. It's really fun to watch. And then you can dump out the excess water after everything expanded. If the pellet looks brown like this, it's not 100% soaked, so I pour in a little bit more water and make sure that the material turns black all the way. And a little bit more water. Let's start with Snapdragon. Snapdragon seeds are tiny. I'm going to use a toothpick to pick them up. Dab the toothpick into water so that the seeds can stick to the toothpick. That's the easiest way to transfer the seeds. I'm putting 2 seeds in each cell, like so. Next, we're going to grow some of the foxglove seeds. These seeds are a bit bigger than the Snapdragon, but not much better. It's still easier to pick up using a toothpick. This is another pallet that I started 2 weeks earlier. I didn't expect them to grow this fast. I went really heavy on these tomatoes, and now I have at least 5 plants in each of the cells. It's time to trim them. I feel really guilty because these tomato seeds I had for over 2 years ago, because usually seeds are good within a year. I thought they went bad and I had so many hundreds of seeds. So I said, well, let's go generous. However, I was dead wrong, and look at how many tomatoes that I have. Now it's time for me to snip them off. The 3 row over here is Delphinium. They take much longer to sprout comparing to other seedlings. They require some cold period of time to sprout, so I put them in the fridge for 3 days. We'll see what happened. And over here I have the bell's flower, or they are called campanula. You can see that the seedlings here are super thick. That's the work of my 2-year-old. She insisted to help, so this is the result of the tiny fingers. Olivia sprinkled the seeds everywhere, and now her mom has to clean up. I'm using a tweezer to pick them out. Thin them down to 1 or 2 plants per cell. As they grow bigger, I will just thin down to 1. Pick the strongest one, or playing mini miny mo, because they all look the same at this point. For the tomato plants, I use scissors to thin because they are pretty big by this point. Pulling the seedlings out, like how I did with the bell's flower, might damage the roots of the one we decide to keep. Cutting them off is a better choice. I also have lupins, habanero, and some pansies in this tray. Everything sprouted and looks super healthy. Another thing I want to mention is that the lighting I'm using is from Aero Garden Farm unit that's unoccupied. You can also use a shop light attached to a shelving unit to grow seedlings. A T8 LED light bulb should do it. And guess what? My Delphinium sprouted. All I did was putting these cells into a to-go box, cover the lid, and then put in the fridge for 3 days. Pull them out, and they sprouted after 10 days. Amazing. Here are the Snapdragon's seedlings. They all sprouted, although different time, but 100% germination rate. And over here are the foxgloves. I'm so excited for this spring. I'm going to start another batch today. Some white yarrow, some double hollyhock, aster, more yarrow, and some of the flamingo pink. And probably I'll put down some strawberries too. I know it's kind of late in the game to sprout strawberry, but oh well. The worst case, I bring them indoor in the garage during the winter time. Alright, here's a caution for you. I don't recommend starting tomato indoor early. It only takes 6 weeks for tomatoes to be transplanted outdoor, so if your last frost day is end of April like me, start indoor mid-March or end of March. I started too early, mid-February, and now my seedlings are screaming to be transplanted. If you look at the leaves, they start to develop the second or the third set of true leaves, tons of roots, and the leaves are turning yellow because they are nutrition deficiency. So now I need to transplant them into the soil, but outdoor is still really cold. My only option right now is to transplant them into a 4-inch pot and keep them under the lighting system and hope they don't stress out too much. These are the plastic 4-inch pots that I got from Amazon. To be honest, I don't recommend these because the materials is too flimsy for my taste. They are cheap for a reason. Next time I'll rather pay extra for a better material, like a better plastic that I can reuse year over year, or I'll use the peat material that can dissolve into the soil. I know they're expensive, like double or triple the price of these, but at least they are environmental friendly and not some cheap plastic pot that you can't even use year over year. So yeah, that's my mistake. I'm using potting mix to transplant my seedlings. Do not use garden soil because they are too heavy for the young seedlings. I'm embarrassed to confess that I'm in the process of moving, so I don't have a shelf set up yet. So I have to improvise. These are the lighting units from my iHarvest. I'm keeping them in the new garage and hope these seedlings can wait until it warms up outside. It's about 60 degrees in my garage. And on warm days, I take them out to enjoy the sun and to harden them up before going into the ground. They look happy. If you guys have any question or comment, please leave them below and I'll get back to you. As always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!